Hello coders, today I'm gonna show you 11 most useful Git commands which can help you to boost your coding productivity. The first one, it will be git clone, by which we can clone this entire website from this repository, and after cloning we're gonna remove all the git related products from that particular directory, and after that we will initialize the git within that folder using the git init. Then we will use git add dot to add all the file within the git tree. Then we're gonna make git commit to commit all the changes. Then after that we're gonna also open a GitHub account, particularly over here, because we need to create another repository to make that all the changes which we already committed to push within that directory. Then also we're gonna use to create another branch, to use that command git branch, and then we will change the branch by using git checkout, git switch, and then we're gonna create all the changes. And after that we can also push the changes, and also you're gonna pull through the changes, and you can see how interactively you can go through all together and how git actually working under the hood. And also I'm gonna show you how you can use that git stash and git stash pop just to switching in your local changes in between. And also I'm gonna show you how interactively you can use that git merge. And by the way, this entire website I already created lots of like a 3 parts of video. You can just go through that. The link, it will be in the description below, and you're gonna find how you can create this entire website from the scratch. But today for you, also that repository link, it will be in the description below. I'm gonna give it to you so you can clone and you can just modify it for your own purpose. And to do all the things in a right mode, first of all you need to initialize the git, so you need to install it into your local machine. If you just come over here on that website, the link, it will be also in the description. You can just get everything from here. So it will just automatically detect your system. Just download for the Windows and then run it or execute that one, and just follow through, just go all the default setup. It will work just fine. If you have any problem, just let me know in the comments below. Either I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna help you to how you can solve it, or I'm gonna just make a one-to-one discussion to close that issue. So first of all, let's go and clone that website. So you can just click on that code, either you can download as zip. So I'm gonna just clone it. So now I have one empty folder. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open my terminal within that folder. So now it's time to use our first command, which is git clone. It's a very powerful command. And now I will paste the one I copied, the repository link. Let's hit the enter. So now it will clone everything within that whatever I have here. So it's gonna clone it. So the cloning part is done. So now let's see where we are heading it. If we put ls, you see there is the portfolio 1. So let's go inside of that. So put the cd portfolio 1, and now we are inside on that directory. Now I will open that in my code editor. I'm using the VS Code, and also if you're using any other code editor, that will be fine to just open. So now let's open my terminal, and from here I love to use the git bash. So now, as we already download from initialize from that git clone, so what we need to do, we need to run another command, which it will be npm install, because now it's gonna fetch all the dependencies to just initialize that project from the beginning. So while it's initializing, let's see what we have within that project. As you see, just ignore that build folder. So, or we can just make the delete, because it's previously the build folder. So now what we have one public folder where the public data is available, and then we have one source folder where I have the assets, components, constants, and everything is going from here. That app.js is the starting point, and where it's wrapping with that index.js. It's just a simple just application. So now, first of all, let's just give it the time to install everything. As you see, all the dependencies are installed. Now let's run that npm start. As you see, it's now going to start spinning in my localhost 3000. So let's take another terminal to do the other work. So first of all, let's go and see the git status. If we just put that git status, as you see, it is within the root directory because we are removing that build asset and other thing. Remember, we removed the build folder, and in the log we can see all the changes because our git is still initialized within that directory. So first of all, what we need to do, let's go inside that folder, and now from here, as you see the git, if you cannot see that, you just need to go to the view and show, and you need to check that hidden items. If I uncheck, you see the hidden items is gone. So what you need to do, go to the show and tick the hidden items so you can see it. So now what you can do, you can delete it from here, or you can also delete it from your terminal. So what you need to do, you need to just run that command git/rf.git star. So it's gonna remove your git from that particular folder. So now as you see, it's just taking a bit of time. And also you need to do one thing. As you see all the changes, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just discard all the changes because I'm no longer following that particular directory. So now as you see, my git repository is totally clean. So now it's time that we can initialize the git over here. So just head back to in our root directory, and then I'm gonna put that git status. And as you see, we are inside our actual in the terminal in the root folder because we didn't initialize the git over here. So the best command to initialize the git is that git init. So now it's gonna initialize the git within our project. And also be careful to remember that you need to initialize also that git ignore. Over here in my project is auto created, so it's already created. If it's not created, you need to create that .git ignore, and you need to also highlight that node modules, so that way it will just skip that node modules when you're gonna create that push request. So now if we just make that one as a git status, as you see, we are now within our folder. So now what I will do, I will make that git add dot, so it will add everything over here. It's gonna add within our git. So let's put git add dot, and now everything is added. So now also we're gonna create our first commit. So let's make that git commit, and now you need to put a message with that clone am, so it will represent the message. Then you need to pass the message, so it will be first commit, so it will be, let's put that initial commit, and don't forget to give that clone, otherwise it will not work. So now we are having that git. Let's go within our GitHub, where we're gonna create one repository, and it's very easy to create that GitHub account. Just go to that github.com, and then if you have an email, just follow through the default behavior. It's very easy. If you cannot open, again, let me know in the comments below. I will show you one-on-one point how you can create it very easily. And to create the repository, let's go to my repository section, and here I will create a new repository, and I'm gonna give that name as YouTube profile. Okay, so that will be my repository. I'll keep it as public. Let's create the repository. And after creating the repository, the setup is already available over here. You need to give that git init, then at that readme.file, so that's already there. As you see, readme.md, so you can modify that file to show how it will visible over here. And we already did that git commit and first commit. So now we will just make that, because here is a very old version. It's just showcasing the master as the main branch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make that git branch am as main, so it will be the main branch will be here. And now after that, you need to run that git remote, so it will connect that repository within our GitHub project. So let's git remote, and after that you can just copy and paste this entire command, which will be git push u origin main. So now what it gonna do, it gonna just grab all the things and it gonna dump it over here within that repository. I think it's still initializing. Okay, I think it's done. Let's just give it reload, and as you see, our initial commit is over here. So now let's go and make some changes by creating another things, and let's see how it gonna reflect. So this is our over in that banner section. So let's go in the component section in the banner, and by the way, let's go to an overview within that the projects. If you click in the feature, as you see, the feature is highlighted and all the feature section is available. And if you go to the project, as you see, the project feature resume, and you can go through with your skill setups, experience, achievements, and others. You have the testimonial section where you have a slider already, and then you have the contact section. And by the way, this website is fully responsive for the mobile screen and others. I used the Tailwind CSS to create it, and it's highly responsive. So let's go to our banner left portion where we have that, as you see, the welcome to my world. So now what I'm gonna do first to create the changes, I'm gonna create another branch which will be git branch, and I'm gonna create it as YouTube. So now if I put that git branch, it will show the branch of that. As you see, I have the main and I have the YouTube. Now I want to switch in between that branch, because as you see, I am within the main branch. So to make that switch, you can keep that as switch, or you can keep checkout, git checkout, then the branch name. So now we are within that YouTube branch. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change this line over here. Let your dream come true. So that is the things we create. Let's just save it, and after saving it, you're gonna see it will reflect over here, right? And also we need to change some other part because it's showing here as a lowercase. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give a class which will be uppercase. And now after saving it, you're gonna see everything turn into uppercase. So now I created that changes in that YouTube branch. As you see, if you just go through with that, the changes is over here in the left banner. So now what I want to do, I want to create a commit over here. Let's make that git, first it will be git add dot, and then it will be git commit left banner modified. So now we commit the changes. Now let git push. If you just click that push, it will not push because you need to set that upstream as origin as YouTube, because we are pushing within that branch. So I'm gonna give that command which gonna set that upstream branch as the YouTube. So I push it over here. Now I want to change the branch. So if I change that git switch main, and once I head back to main, as you see, that's the changes is already reverted, because that changes is not committed from the main, is committed from that YouTube branch. So that's the way it works. So if we head back to our project, as you see, YouTube had recent pushes less than a minute ago. So we need to make that pushes to merge that pushes within our branch. So if we just refresh, I think it will pop up here soon. Now if we click here, as you see, I have a YouTube branch. So that branch is giving a pull request. So actually I can now pull from here. So let's go to main branch again. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come here and make a pull request. So as you see, just first pull, just create that pull request. And of course you can view and check the setups if it's working or not. If it's any conflict is there, you can view everything from here. So let's make that, and also confirm the changes. So now our branch is modified. So now what we can do actually, if we go back over here, nothing changes yet. So to create, just to make the changes within our this main branch, what we can do, we need to make that run this command git pull. So now it's gonna pull and fetch all the changes whatever happened in the main. As you see, once I take that lets you dream come true is already happening to be changes here, and as you see, that button, that title is changed already. So with in that way you can actually interactively, like collectively work like one or more people within the same project, creating your each and every branch, and then push from that branch, which will be interactively managed by one person who will be handle the main directory, like the main branch. Now let's make some changes over here in the feature section. As you see, in the feature, instead of that, what I want to make things I love to do. And remember, we are changing it in the YouTube's YouTube branch. So let's save it, and we can see that the reflection is coming over here. Oops, it's not coming. Yeah, just hit the save. So now that portion is changing over here. So what I want to do, I want to switch the branch. After changing that, I want to take the changes with me to my main branch, and to do that, what I love to do with that command is git stash command to run. Let's type that git stash. Let's type that git stash. And after putting that, as you see, these changes is now in the stash folder. So what I can do now, I can easily git a switch to that the main branch, and now over here I can make that git stash pop. So the changes is reflecting over here. I'm just taking that changes in my main branch. So now let's change something over here in the main branch. As we change this portion, and also this changes something over here, business card. Okay, business card. So now what we can do, we can just go through and reflect all the changes. So what I will do, git add dot, and the same way git commit changes in feature, and also I'm gonna push it from my main folder. So just remember, there is two thing changes. One is the title, one is that the subtitle. So now if I move through with that git switch YouTube, now as you see, that changes will revert it like the previous one. And if you just go with your GitHub repository, as you see, the changes is already reflected over here, but it will not reflect it in the YouTube because our main branch is ahead of our YouTube branch. And to let that things is happening with that, we can make that git pull. And now as you see, git pull is showing we are already up to date, but we are not up to date, right? So to make us up to date, I'm gonna make that git merge with that main. So whatever changes is happen in the main branch, I want to reflect the changes over in my this branch. So now after doing that, the merge, as you see, that things also changes. So in that way you can just go through with to work with other people and to interact with the other people to like you, whatever the changes you are making in your local repository, it can be reflected, it can be just comparised to just see how you can go and toggle through. So feel free to optimize all the setup, all the commands I have been shown to you, and also just go with that projects and just toggle through and learn a bit more about how it really works and make your own portfolio from that project. And if you really want to commit the changes or you want to add within like make some changes for that, like I have that portfolio one.reactbt.com, so I will give the repository link. You can like make the changes, create your own branch, make the changes, then push through that repository. Then I will also head back and merge that commit and make that things to appear within my website. So I think it will make a lot of sense once you are doing that. So we'll see you in my next video.